to do. When I think of wickedness, maybe you think this too, I think of an egregious violation of a commandment. Maybe do not murder and you murder. Okay, that's wicked. But in this case, it's not, wickedness is not something that you do as much as it is something that you fail to do. And what if wickedness was determined by what we failed to do? What if wickedness was determined by whether or not we were willing to fully invest all that we had been given for the sake of the kingdom? What if wickedness was measured by the ratio of talents received to talents invested? Would that change the way we think about our stuff? Would that change the way we think about our children, our houses, our cars, our church? It would change everything, which is what I believe this parable is aimed at for the disciples of Jesus. They need to reorient, just totally rethink the way they think about temporal stuff. The third servant, you ask this question, well, why didn't the third servant invest his money? The answer is probably because he was afraid. That's what he says in verse 25. And the reason that he was afraid is because when you invest your money, you have no control over it. I remember the first time that I had invested my money into the market. It wasn't money that I was taking out of my check. This was like a separate IRA. I was going to fund a Roth IRA. The Roth IRA, you don't pay taxes on it. When you receive the income, you pay taxes going in. And so I'd saved up all year long, and I was going to put it all at once into this IRA. And I waited to the last minute because I wanted the ability to pull out last minute. But here it was, the end of the year. I had this money saved, and I was going to put it in the Roth IRA. And I remember putting that money in there and how sick that it made me feel, because I thought I won't be able to access this money. It's going into that account, not my savings account. And my savings account, I could just move it over. Savings, checking, savings, checking, savings. Oh, you want a new pair of jeans? Well, just move it over. Savings and checking. Oh, that's an emergency, of course. But now going into the IRA, I have no control over it. And I remember the first time I got the statement from that organization of how they had invested the money that I gave to them, and they lost $20. And I was furious. How could you lose $20 and I only have 4,900 and whatever that is? I'm not a good math guy. And so they, every month they would send the check, and I would always be really uptight about it. And I finally had to just quit reading the mail and just forget about it. Because you don't have control over your money when it's in the market. Maybe that's how this servant felt. He thought, I can't control it. It's my master's money. My master's a hard man. If I lose his money, he's going to get upset with me. Maybe what's better is just for me to embrace the security that comes from knowing my master's money is in the ground, and just enjoy it that way. And that's maybe how a lot of us feel about money, but we learn from the parable that kind of mentality is wicked. We learn from the parable that in the kingdom of God, when you think about kingdom economics, risk is right. Risk is always right. You can risk what you have for the sake of the kingdom, or you can live under the illusion of safety. The third servant was living in an illusion. It was a mirage. He thought he was safe. He thought his master would be happy. Hey, I didn't lose any of your money. I protected it. It was safe. And we hear from the master, no, that's wicked. That's lazy. So we can live with risk, or we can live under the illusion of safety. To be obedient in the kingdom of God is to risk all that you have for the sake of his kingdom. And risk necessarily means you just don't know how things are going to turn out.